Hello Galactic family. Every year since 2005, I've been writing about the annual forecasts, and every year I say the same thing. I write the predictions, although not like writing them. I hesitate to make predictions, especially about world events, because I do not want to influence the thinking of one or tilt the energy in any particular direction. Our manifestation powers are strong now, and we create with our thoughts. And we can use the energy in any way we want, so it is important to focus on high-frequency expansion, and the world we want to live, rather than being discouraged by what we see as a world gone mad. Now, more than ever, there is enormous power in the shared collective consciousness, because humanity's collective family is much more conscious of itself, of its power and its place in the universe than ever before. This makes us more powerful and stronger protesters. If thoughts were powerful before, they are exponentially so now. Since my predictions are read by millions of people from dozens of countries, which can translate and interpret what they read in many different ways, share these predictions is a mission that we take very seriously and write with a great deal of attention. And I found that they are very accurate. When I look back over the course of the year, the incentive to do, too. The details of what exactly will happen not always part of the information they share with you, because the focus is on what has the potential to happen or what is energetically aligned to allow certain events to reveal in special ways. Because we have evolved a lot since the beginning of this century, be aware of the availability of different potentials serves as a decision-making guide, rather than a dire warning of events next year. When you read, avoid seeking confirmation of things to come and not look for scenarios of doom and gloom, because I refuse to consider them as a possibility. Instead, use this information as a tool to manage your own life and energy, as they embark on a new year, full of potential, power and possibilities. I deliberately avoid the predictions of doom and gloom that others do, in part, because I believe it serves no useful purpose to predict bad events, since I know that we have control over our individual and collective realities. And I do not believe gushing sweetness and light, the belief that the universe will do better and that we will care without our active participation, is simply unrealistic, is not consistent with our roles as co-creators in the universe, and is therefore a disinformation aimed at promoting the belief that lives are revealed in a predestined way, we are unable to stop, change or control. They are prepared to keep their light for another year? I know that the journey has been extremely long and challenging, sometimes, we have been in it for several decades. But the evolutionary spiral of ascension is not achieved in a day, and we cannot evaluate the success it is carried along a journey of many lives, for what happens in a single life. This year requires bright lights, strong intentions, bold action, and empowered thinking, and may be the year you reach all your dreams and become rich, happy and successful, if you have this as their intention. We are closer to the end of this journey we've ever had, and how they will read here, although there is really no end, there is definitely a crossroads, and we are there now. Where do we go from here? It's a new adventure, and we can go anywhere we want. 2017 is the year of the awakening to the divine congruence. We are ready and very close to welcome our energy sovereignty, our mastery, and enter the portals of the 5D. It is time to live our lives on the side of joy. I'm ready, are you? Here is an excerpt of the 2017 predictions for you, for the complete electronic book has 50 pages. Every time I write an annual forecast, a word or phrase stands out as the dominant energy for this year, and in 2017 is divine congruence, which means integrating our divinity into our humanity and divine human becoming. For many years I wrote that the rise is an integration, not an acquisition. We are not destroying the 3D to the 5D can take, freeing us from the ego so that we can be spiritualized, or denying our humanity because it is not as good or less acceptable than our spirit. Those who taught that the rise was only one step to the sky, a new planet or dimension, or off the planet for new or distant areas through our alien friends, those who have been waiting for this to happen since 1999, were disappointed. Is not this what ascension is all about? It is a multi-step process, multiple levels of integration and higher frequency vibrations in our 3D paradigm, creating a new paradigm for the Earth and humanity, which is a harmonious fusion of the energies of 3D and 5D. This process has expanded and intensified in the last 9 years since 2007. And this year, 2017, we are in a space where we can see a full integration of the 5D and begin to experience being and living from this space. Periods of power. Power periods are times during the year in which energy flows are stronger and the potential for transformation is much higher. Almost the whole year 2017 is a period of power, because there is a lot going on this year. January to March begins on January 1, 2017, which is a 1-1-1 vibration. We also have the end of the Mercury retrograde. Then all the planets are in direct motion, a very rare occurrence. Venus and Mars, the cosmic lovers, will be together for most of February 2017. This is quite unusual, so is noteworthy. Since there is a focus on merger and balance of masculine and divine feminine as part of our divine congruence, have these two planets together in the first sign, Aries, which is also what Mars rules, is very important. If you did not have a romantic relationship of love and support for years, may 2017 be the year that this changes. The eclipse of February brings Uranus and Neptune ahead and have continued squaring Saturn/Chiron, active for most of the year, which is a call to heal and cleanse our collective karma. This will be a major focus for all of us in 2017. So you see this as karma wheel turns and decide when it's time for you to leave it. Other periods of power are March and April, July and August, and early September and October to December. The only relatively quiet months are June and November. The eclipse of August 21 to 28 degrees of Leo affects all born between 1955 and 1960. This can bring big life changes, so be aware that it will be performing this year. Themes 2017, besides the divine congruence, include connection and be in the collective, the transparency of the 5D, freeing us from the limitations of 3D filters, passing celebrity to the community, the end of exclusivity, becoming multidimensional, the movement of the curator martyred for empowered master, the integration of masculine/feminine divine, which is possible with the integration of energy 5D, passing polarity to the duality, welcoming the divine and the material, and recognizing that joy is our life purpose. Here are my overall forecasts for the year. Climate change on Earth. We will see a strange weather this year, but not with the severity that we saw in 2014 and 2015, which were caused by weather modification experiments that went wrong. They were still practicing. These will be ongoing. While seeing large chemical trails in the sky, know that climate manipulation is being done. We have the power to make this type of manipulation, maintaining our high frequencies and sending a lot of high energy to Earth, as well as setting intentions for the climate control work stop. Earthquakes and tremors are strong in early spring until the summer March to August, with some major events in August. More attention will be given to areas that have many cracks related to earthquakes, especially Oklahoma, areas of central and western Kansas, Ohio and Pennsylvania, and parts of northern Texas. See also large holes appearing in these areas, especially Texas and Kansas, which is directly related to the fissures and in ways that cannot be hidden or denied. Many truths about the dangers and risks of cracks arise also around July or August, and in the form of memos or emails are accidentally leaked. More attention will be given to the world's oceans, which are stressed with toxic waste, chemicals and waste, and energy muffling the planet and absorbing much energy dense. I see more people doing independent studies in the oceans and on their health, because a lot of information we need to know are being hidden from us. Independent work will be freely shared and this will lead people to demand change. Although they have done this in the past, with no results, they are coming together now, in large groups, and this will create the responsiveness that they are seeking. We can help with this by sending very high energy and powerful intentions to the oceans, particularly the Pacific Ocean around the Oregon, which I feel is really stressed right now, and on the opposite side, around Japan. There is also some karmic energy of sadness that is coming from the land across the oceans, which will create large and unusual waves in areas where this does not happen normally. They happen without warning, so watch the news. These big waves in many coastal cities, especially around the South Pacific, Australia and towns on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. Economics and politics. Things are in turmoil throughout January and early February, when Trump is sworn in and begin his mandate. All eyes will be on him, so he will be especially careful with everything you do. I see him also making a real effort to fix the problems in the economy and political factions to stop the fighting. He will have some success with the economy and try hard to fulfill their promises. I see it being less successful in political circles, mainly because it is not respected and will go against the status quo. But it will be very eloquent about their efforts and will not hesitate to let people know when it is being hindered in their efforts. This will cause some political reaction, but their lack of political ability and concern for the protocol will keep you in trouble with the politicians during most of this year. I cannot see him in office for more than 2 years. I do not know what will happen after this point. The economy is moving to a more balanced state, and that has nothing to do with the government or the financial markets. I see it splitting into 2 economies, which is reported, and then, one in which people are participating. The empowerment of energy this year will drive more people to work as autonomous, starting with an adventure full or part-time, and bringing more money. I see a lot of political turmoil in the usual places where this type of activity keeps the old 3D portals open, such as the Middle East, North Africa, an area around the Philippine Islands. This is very artificial and people will know, and more reaction against Israel by a majority of world governments. Something will happen around September, too, and they will have to renegotiate with Palestine. Social and spiritual. More people are waking up to the notion of being spiritual and spirituality, and they feel very good about this, because they are ready to understand this aspect of themselves. We will see masses of people doing it from June to August and again from October to December. This will happen very quickly. There is a slow process, so it may be a surprise when people suddenly want to learn more about intuition, energy and spiritual themes. People will begin online communities, using a variety of media tools, new and existing, and this will be an online association and offline. The desire for community connected and living will be very strong this year, and this will continue next year. With a greater desire for connection, compassion, collaboration and consistency, we will begin to see changes in the world through acts of revolution and non-violent social participation. With governments to act in the interests of business and politics, people will begin to understand that creating their own solutions and administration of their own interests will be required. This will not be a violent revolution, will be a more direct collaboration between people who want the same result and they take the steps to do so. The aliens among us. I felt for many years that the reason we do not see other life forms and life forms that inhabit this planet to our side, and there are many of them, is that we are trying to see them with our 3D vision, and we need to change this to be able to use our vision 5D to discern its presence. In 2017 and 2020 we will have many more UFO sightings, and we will be able to connect and interact with these forms of life. The process will begin slowly, but as soon as you master these connections will be made easily. This does not mean that we will be rescued or saved, because not all of these life forms are benevolent, but we will have stronger and more frequent interactions with them. There will be around August or September this year, I believe, some kind of participation in the cleaning of toxic elements from the soil and water, especially the oceans, a technology that is brought out of the planet and will quickly bring the seas back to life. I do these predictions with caution because it is not definitive. While this is a potential, it is our desire that the energies of peace, love, joy and prosperity create this on the planet. If we want a different kind of world, we need to set intentions for this world was. It can, if we do as a collective family of humanity. The era of self-interest has expired. The era of the collective social interest arrived.